Hi, welcome back. It is day 17 of the Tour de Fleece, and today I am spinning the third of 4 sections of the 500 grams of Rosie's Multicolor Merino top in the Cornucopia colorway that I got from the Woolery. I have already shown a spin video and applying video of this fiber, so, and actually this is the result back here, drying. And because I've already shown that, I didn't want to give you the same thing to look at again, so I'm actually doing something a little different today. I'm going to take you along on my dyeing experiment, dyeing fiber experiment. And this is my first dye attempt. So this is some Cheviot yarn. I got 4 pounds of it from Paradise Fibers. And the way that I dyed this was in a designated slow cooker. I put it in water and vinegar, and then just added powdered acid dye, then turned the yarn, added more powdered acid dye, and so forth until I got this color. So I've been kind of playing with that, and I did the same thing with this, but I used less water, so it's more of a low immersion, and I got a little bit better color distribution. And so that was the second attempt at dyeing that I did. And then the most recent one was, I left this one actually in the braid, and I put it on some saran wrap like this, and then added the purple, the blue, and the yellow. The purple is actually a jet black mixed with magenta, and then added to the fiber. So then I wrapped this up in the saran wrap, kind of like a little fiber burrito, and put it in the crock pot to cook. Once the dye was fairly exhausted, I rinsed it and hung it to dry. So today I'm going to take you along to see my process. I'm going to try a little something different, a little something new. I'm actually coiling the fiber around inside the crock pot, trying to have some negative space left on the braid that has some natural color, and sort of isolate other colors. So we'll see how it works. I hope you enjoy this trip on my fiber dyeing experiment. I will show a final result of this at the end of the video as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching. So bye. This is my little dye setup. You can see I have the Cheviot yarn in, this is just in water and vinegar. Not a lot of water in there. I soaked it in a lot more, but I poured some of the water out. And here's the little space in the middle I'm trying to kind of leave to allow some of the color to stay in the middle. My attempt for this is to have some yellows, oranges, and black, but also a lot of negative space. So I'm not going to actually turn this over like I did with some of my other dye jobs. I'm going to leave the bottom to be as white as possible, or as natural as possible, to leave some of that negative space in the yarn, hopefully. So we'll see. So obviously not a professional dye studio, but here we go. Let's see if we can get some color into this fiber. So this is the brand. I got this as a kit at a local shop, Halcyon Yarn in Maine, and this is the color I'm using. And I don't measure anything, I don't keep track of what I'm doing, I'm just having fun. But this is the shade, it's Sun Yellow, and I basically just put some water and vinegar in here, and added maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon of powder. So I'm going to put that right in the middle. And hopefully that will absorb in the center of the yarn, or the fiber. And then the orange color is a burnt orange. So I'm going to add that sort of around the outside of the yellow. And when I do this when I've done this with the powdered dye, I kind of poke it into the fiber to get it to penetrate through to the bottom, but I don't think I'm going to do that with this. I'm just going to let it kind of do its thing and see what we come up with. More of a painted effect, I guess. So there's our orange, and then this one is the jet black. Oops, I didn't have my gloves on. Oopsie daisy. This is the jet black. And I had that pre-mixed. It almost has a purpley color to it. So I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out. So I'm just going to apply this to sort of the outside. I don't have a lot of this, so I'm going to be a little sparing. And that's all I've got. So that's all it will be. I might do a little bit of water in here just so I can get some more, just a little bit more there and there, and then we'll see how that turns out. Now I could play with it a little bit. I could kind of poke just to get that black to penetrate in areas where I want the underside to be white, but I do want the top to be good and saturated with color. So I guess I am going to play with it a little bit. So I'm going to poke that down just a little bit so that I get good color coverage on the black on the outside, but I'm not touching the inside at all. And hopefully we'll get some good negative space on the underside, but I do want a good amount of that dark black color. I could play with this all day and then I'd have nothing like what I intended. So I'll leave it at that and we'll see what it comes out to. I'm gonna let it cook for, I usually check it every 30 minutes just to see if the dye has exhausted yet. So I will come back and we'll see what we get. So lesson learned, the black is a lot more intense than I expected. So I have pulled the fiber out of the crock pot. There's still, as you can see, quite a bit of dye left in the crock pot. But the black was definitely mixing and getting more on the fiber than I wanted. It's still very warm, so I'm going to move it very gently, but you can see there is still some negative space underneath, but the black was really starting to get penetrating through a lot of the fiber, and I wanted a lot more of this color, and I didn't want the black to grab anymore. So I pulled the fiber out and put it on a strainer, and I'm going to let that finish cooling, and then we'll give it a rinse. Okay, we are back. It's been about an hour and a half since I pulled this out of the crock pot. It is quite cool, room temperature to the touch. So we are going to very gently put it in some clear water, and I will try to not make you dizzy here. So here is the completed dye job, and it is in regular cool water. I'm sorry, but that is the lowest angle that my camera will get on the tripod. So I'll have to kind of lift it up for you to see. We are getting the water running clear, or close to clear. The water in the sink is just a little bit gray, but it's pretty much clear. Like, I'm satisfied with that. So I'm going to pull the plug on that and just kind of set that to the side. And then I have a bucket here, which I'm going to put just a scotch of wool wash in. Just a little dollop. And give that a little swish. And then I'm going to toss my fiber into that. And this is room temperature, cool to room temperature water. So I'm not agitating it at all. I'm literally just putting it in and just kind of giving it a very gentle mix. Like that. And I didn't use my gloves because I like to feel what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put my strainer back in the sink. Gently pour my water and fiber out. So my fiber is just going to go right on that little strainer. So there it is on the little strainer. It's really a cooling rack, but it works as a strainer. And then what I'm going to do is just give this a very gentle press. I'll wait for my water to drain. There we go. Give it just a gentle press on that cooling rack to take out a little bit of the water. And it's just a very gentle press I'm doing there to kind of get the water out. There's the two ends of my fiber. I'm just gently uncoiling this so I know how and where to hang it. Okay, so now I'm going to give it just a gentle squeeze all the way down. To get rid of a lot of the water from the fiber. Just making sure to let go completely so I don't grab too much of the fiber. I'll hang it up and I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, so here is the roving. Yes, that is my Swiffer mop hung between two cabinets. And I just clip the ends, or the close to the ends, and then I just drape the middle section over and I allow it to drip into the sink. So it will sit here for probably 2 days. I think the last one took about 2 days to dry. I'll open that window, it'll make it easier, but I'm quite pleased with it. I love the negative. There's definitely some negative space there, which I wanted. I wanted some of that natural color to come through, and I think it's really, really cool. So this will be spun up on the Tour de Fleece in August that my Facebook group is, or the Facebook group that I belong to is going to be doing. So this will be fun. Thanks for watching, and join me again in August to see it spun up. And here is the Cornucopia single that I spun up for the Tour de Fleece today. I hope you enjoyed my experiment with dyeing fiber, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.